What's going on, everybody? All Wheel Kennels of the Carolinas at your services. I'm gonna do a little video. We're just gonna talk about it. I thought about it yesterday, and I know I ain't did nothing since I think last year. Did a little video. I like doing a lot of editing because I can put more thought. I can put more imagery into perceiving my message that way. I was just thinking, it's a lot of evolution crosses that they doing now, and me as a breeder, that's not putting any fear in what I got going on, but it's putting a competitive nature in me as a breeder. What direction should I go to keep my dogs, sustainable and keep it on the same level as these evolutionary dogs that they create now? They creating them bigger. They getting bigger, smarter, faster. What should I do far as in my kennel, my program? And so it puts me at a point. It puts me on the edge of saying, look, I got to be a little bit more better. I got to do a little bit more sharper. And it's and the way that I'm going, I think I'm gonna be able to evolve to keep up with these evolutionary dogs that they putting together, and some of these breeders putting together. Like I seen, because I watch everything. The main thing is I watch, I study, and I absorb, and I saturate the things. So I'm paying attention, but it's a good thing when you paying attention steady. You ain't just focusing all on what you need to do. Cause I pay attention, and I think somebody had created like a band or like a new band dog. It was crossed out with something. I heard a guy say crossing out an American Pit Bull Terrier with a Presa Canario, and they doing other stuff like they did a Rottweiler with something else. But anyway, the Malinois dogs, they are basically on the same level as the American Pit Bull Terrier. We just don't know as far as when it comes to that the combative instinct, because I just don't want to say anything as far as that, because then if you say a certain word, they thank you. So I say combative instinct, but they do have the prey drive, they do have the athleticism, they do have the smarts. They got the Malinois, definitely got everything, all the tools. So me as a breeder, I got to put myself in that category. How can I keep my program sustainable? And the way I've been doing it is not just focusing on inbreeding, not just focusing on just one method. I've been trying to implement all methods. Well, I have been doing all methods: inbreeding, line breeding, and outcrossing. Had an outcrossing in there. I got a couple breedings like that. Just like that. Of sitting in the sky, X sky to limit. That's basically that's the inbred, that's line bred, and then I still got the outcrosses down up in there. So it's the same thing if you want to look at it that way. But yeah, but I'm pushing the narrative. What can I do? And that's gonna elevate me as a breeder from the next decade or so, because you got these breeders, or you got these, I ain't gonna even call them so-called, you just got these people that want to just have their own little breed, and that's cool. And it's a wonderful thing. And I got to give a big shout out to one of my man. Just met him not too long ago, probably about like a couple months now. We've been talking, and we've been on some intellectual conversations, and it's been good, man. And it's just expanding my territory of my thinking. And his name, Concealed Carry a Weapon, and he formed a French Terrier, but it's like a 5-way cross, man. His name, the dog name is what's his name? Omar Coming, but he about around a good, excuse me, about a good 28 pounds. But this little joker is bad thing. And I like that, the way he's going, the area he's going, what he's trying to push, and everybody keep asking what the dog got in him. How did you make it up? It don't matter, as long as the dog is performing. People be wanting to just know and try to do something better than you. Nah, you can't steal what the originator put it out there. So that's like a person trying to, get your dog, but trying to make it better than what you got. You don't understand it. I don't been around it to understand the paper. How I like to put things is I understand the art, the science, and the anticipation. That's what I like. The art is basically looking at what your dog has to offer you in the physical eye, and the traits, the attributes, and all that. And then the science is looking in the pedigree, going back 8 generations, going back 16 generations, and seeing the methods of that's down in the science, the DNA, the gene pool, the phenotype, all that other stuff. You looking down at that, man. I still look at, Mr. November. I still look at Lackey's Brit pedigree, just look it over. I'll look it over 1,000 times, just trying to see if I can see something different. And even if I do see the same thing on, it's still the same repeated thing, that's good enough for me, because now it's just an imagery in my head of saying, and I'm looking at these puppies trying to compare. But then when I do art, X science, X anticipation, I'm looking to get a result out of all them three things I'm putting together, and hopefully it's the best results. But I just want to do a little video, and I ain't gonna stay on here too long, just talking about. So with all these new dang, I can't even talk, evolutionary dogs that they creating now, and a lot of times our dogs done been hybrid. We don't need to hybrid our dogs no more. A lot of the dogs need our dogs in their bloodline just to survive. You know what I'm saying? But it's elevating me as a breeder to be more prepared, more articulate with certain selective breedings, and then using certain dogs, but also just attempting to try something and see where you at with it, because I am a big fan of only way you're going to get quality unless you have quantity. Because why you see a lot of these big breeders back then, they had 300 dogs. They was trying to, they were just trying to, get a bird's eye view on what they had, and they were trying to do it in every little way. Because sometimes, if you got a certain way bred dog, and then you saying it's doing good, but now you ain't really seeing the expectations to go higher and keep, furthering the program with the progression that you're giving. You need to start doing different other crosses together, like aunt, nephew, uncle, niece, and seeing if what's gonna be the best out of that. And then or if you could just compare them to, like, okay, I didn't get this, I need to get this out of that. And that's why you gotta keep going up, and that's the main thing. And I don't want to keep stagnant and get left behind. Even if somebody comes up and these evolutionary dogs that they say, do I really want an all-wheel dog or one of these newer dogs? And then when they see, they do their homework, they do their research on our dog. It's like, man, this dog just as better or better. That's the mind state I want to put in the minds and the hearts and the spirits and the souls of these people, but not only just giving them a perception, but giving them a reality too, just as well. But that was just something to think about, man. Share, comment, see what y'all thinking of, because we got these evolutionary dogs that's coming. They crossing out different stuff, and I know a lot of people doing it. They like, I want to cross this out, I want to cross that out together and see what I can make. And it look good on paper, but sometimes it don't. Just because it look good on paper, that don't mean it's gonna come out looking good in reality. But man, I hope y'all having a good one, man. I probably ain't gonna do nothing about 10 minutes just talk, but that's where I got me at. It's got me into a challenging, competitive nature to, keep evolving our dogs with this, because our line of dogs ain't nothing but like 7 years old, and I want to see when I hit that 10th year to see how big of a margin I don't made, and seeing how far I don't came, and see how I'm gapping everything out. Because like I said, I'm just about a hair away from what I need to get, like what I'm pushing for myself, and seeing some old dogs my uncle had back when I was a little fella running the streets, and the teenager and adult, seeing the type of dogs he was breeding, and man, just had some good solid stuff. And that's the level that I want to be on. But man, y'all have a beautiful day. I said I'm gonna get about 10 minutes, but so that's where my mind stayed at, being the evolution dogs. Can my dogs compete with these evolutionary dogs that they got now? So I want to be able to set the bar, set the tone. I don't want to be subpar just to be, I want to be on the same level. When you look at one of our dogs and you look at one of them dogs that's been created, and they don't got a lifespan of them, that's been created like 5-year-old bloodline, but it's been doing good and everybody like it, and then it could do this, it could do that. They promoting, they marketing it. My dog should be able to do the same thing. But y'all have a good one. This is all Will Kennels of the Carolinas at your services. We got some puppy sale. 3 puppies left out of Obsidian and Sky. They're really good. They're gonna be better than the last litter. I kept one male. I donated one male back to my peoples in Philly. I donated one to these little young gentlemen that bought 2 dogs out of the last litter, out of Obsidian in the Sky, and then I gave one of my good friends of mine. He gave me some of that Macho Bear stuff mixed in with ours. Gave him a pup back, and so we got 3 left, man. So appreciate y'all tapping in and taking the time to tap in, man. We love you. We're gonna keep doing a little bit more. We're gonna get more stricter. We're gonna get more, blunt with doing things, and just trying to, set the tone, man. And yeah, and we're gonna go in more business minded instead of having the pleasure. Got to be business minded. That's the only way we're gonna stay strong and stay committed and stay firm at what we're doing. If we get the business minded, more business minded, I can't get in your feelings if you ain't got this, you ain't got that. Just get me on the next one. All right, y'all have a good day.